Alrighty, welcome everybody. I hope you guys are sitting at your crafting desk and you are ready to craft along with me tonight. For those of you that are new to my channels, you're either watching me on Facebook or YouTube. My name is Julie Brown. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and welcome. I am so happy to have you here tonight. I'm going to take care of what I call some housekeeping right away while I'm waiting for people to get on. First thing is, if you're on with me and you have any questions while we're going through this, you can type them in the comments. I do look up quite a bit and to see if there's any comments, so just stick that question in there. If you're watching the replays, you can still put a question in, and it eventually will get through to me on my, I believe it comes in on my email, and I'll see that, and then I will be able to go in and answer your questions. All right? So let's get the housekeeping out of the way. So anyone that's going to be placing an order with me that's going to be below $150, please use this hostess code. That is my June hostess code. You can order through me at juliebrown.stampinup.net. You can email me at juliescreativestampin@gmail.com, and then you're either watching me on Facebook and YouTube, so you already know what those channels are. The YouTube one is a little bit different because you have to put Julies Creative Stamping, and then don't forget to go check out my blog, juliescreativestamping.com. I have a lot of good information. I haven't posted in there in quite a while because I've been learning some other things regarding social media. Facebook changed a bunch of stuff as far as how we can stream through them. And so I've had to kind of back off on my blog a little bit and get updated on all the different ways for me to be able to do these videos with you guys. Alrighty. So let's talk about what we're going to be using tonight. Now, some of you did place orders with me in the time frame that you needed to receive the card kit. So if you have the card kits, you have everything that you need. It's already cut out for you. But for those that didn't get the card kits and want to use the stuff that you have at home, I am going to be explaining to you what to cut out, and then you'll just use whatever stamp you've picked out and whatever dies you have picked out. So that's kind of how this craft along works. You can either place a $40 order with me, and I give you guys about a week's period to be able to qualify to get the card kits for this. But you guys can still put a $40 in order from now until next week if you do still want the card kits, and I can still get those mailed out to you. All right, so let me just talk about some upcoming events that I have coming up. And so the first thing is I will be doing a class to go. These are different than what we're doing tonight. My class to goes are, I actually send you a pre-recorded video so that you can follow it at home, but you get a goodie bag, you get a bunch of really fun stuff in that goodie bag. You get all of the written instructions for each of the cards, and we are doing a Christmas in July. And so that one you need to let me know as soon as possible if you want to get in on that one. I've tried putting the link in here. I will try again after I'm done doing the video, but there is an event link that you can go and get registered for. If you watch my last week's video, that link is on there. So just check that out if you want to get in on that class, because I believe that one is getting very close to the deadline on that one to get pre-registered. And again, this one you do on your own. You'll get the video, you'll have the step-by-step instructions. You can still reach out to me if you have any questions, but that's going to be a really fun one. And then the next event that I have coming up is going to be my craft along for July. It is also going to be a Christmas in July, and we're going to be using the Iconic Celebration Suite, which is one of the new online suites. And you'll see right there at the bottom, if you want the card kits, then you need to place an order with me for $40 between July 1st and July 9th to get that particular card kit. All right, hopefully that explains everything for you. So let's talk about what we're using tonight. So we are going to be using, the Spotlight on Nature bundle. Now, I know this bundle has been extremely popular. It has been available, not available, parts of it available, and at noon today, now that doesn't mean that that's what it is right now, but at noon today, the dies were available, the stamp set was not. But you'll just have to go in and check. But I do want to put this up here for you as well. because if you buy it in the bundle, you do get a 10% discount, and even a bigger discount, because right now all of our bundles are on sale. But unfortunately, the bundle's not available at this moment. But you can buy the things separately. So you can buy the stamp set. It's listed there. The dies are listed there. And then I use the Full of Life 6x6 Designer Series paper and the Subtles 6x6 Designer Series paper. So that is the products that I used with their numbers, so that if you decide you really love this cards that I do, again, if you spend $40 with me, I'll send you the card kits, and you'll just need to have the stamps and the dies. Alrighty, so let's get started. Well, I got to figure out how to get everything off my screen. Okay, so this is that bundle. It's the Spotlight on Nature, and it's got some beautiful stamps in it. And then I think the most popular thing is all of these dies. These dies are fabulous. As you can see, there's 2 sets of them. And so it has, I call these, I forget what I've been calling them. Hey, Flora, you love this set, I know. Anyway, this has like a little ridge to it. And so you get 4 different sizes of that one. And then the next one is the slotted one, and you get 4 different sizes of this one. And then the third one is the really pretty decorative leaves, and you get 4 different sizes of that one. Okay, well, let's get started with our first card. Again, guys, if you are at home and you did not order this set, or you didn't get the card kits from me, I'm doing this so that we can all craft along together. So for those of you that are in my VIP group or on my team, I did put a post in there to tell you ahead of time what you're going to need. So if anybody's watching and you want to be part of my VIP group, reach out to me, because usually before the craft alongs, I put what kind of sizes you're going to need so that you're ready for the craft alongs if you don't get the card kits. If you've got the card kits, it's a pretty, that's what I call the easy button. Okay, so we are going to start out with our first card. So you guys are going to need a card base that is cut 4 4¼ by 11, and then you score it at 5½. So if you want to get that cut, you can get that cut. The next thing that you're going to need is a piece of basic white, and this piece is 3 by 4, so you will need to get that cut. I'm going to try to go somewhat slow because I want everyone to be able to work along with me, and I know some of you are not in my VIP group, so you didn't get the cuts ahead of time. Okay, and then for me, I mean, for this card, you can kind of copy what I'm doing, but if you don't have Stampin' Up! Colors at home, use the closest color that you have to this. Or if you don't want to do it in purples and greens like I'm doing, do it completely different. Oh yeah, so both of you love this set. I know, it's a beautiful set. Okay, so the next piece is a 2 by 2, and for Stampin' Up! Customers, this is Highland Heather. Again, you guys are supposed to be using what you have at home if you did not get the card kits. And then you're going to need another basic white that is cut 3 3/4 by 5. This is going to be part of the inside of your card. You're going to need a piece of shaded spruce that is 3½ by 4½. Hey Patty, I'm so glad you're joining. So remember guys, all of my craft alongs are the ones that I do. We are on what, is it the 3rd? I am so messed up on dates. I think it's the 4th. Oh my gosh. Are we on the 4th Wednesday? Help me out, ladies. I've had so many graduations that I've been going to that I am completely discombobulated this month. Let's see. Let me look at my calendar so I can see. I believe it is the 4th. Yes, the 4th Wednesday of every month. Oh my gosh, guys. Seriously. 4th Wednesday of every month, I do a craft along. I'm going to be letting you know ahead of time what I'm using. I know that some of you are demonstrators, so you want to make those purchases under you, that's fine. But if you do place a $40 order with me, I will have all of the card kits with all of the paper and everything die cut out for you. You'll just have to do your stamping. Okay, so we just did that last one there. And the last one that you're going to need is a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of shaded spruce. Okay. And I will do that in just a bit, Susie. Okay, so we're going to start with these pieces here. And what we're going to do is, for this one right here, oh shoot, I did use a different stamp set. I was afraid of that. Hold on one second and let me see if I can grab that stamp set. So hopefully you guys are still kind of cutting your pieces. I am going to try to figure out what stamp set I used. I had it written down, but then I, you know, being the smart person that I am, I did not print it out, so I had it sitting here in front of me, which is what I should have done. Let's see. Okay. The So Sincere stamp set. So let me see if I can find that one. Okay, good. Found it. So I use the So Sincere stamp set along with this one. Now again, guys, you know me, I love sentiment stamp sets, right? So on the sentiment stamp sets, I always tell you guys to get, you know, have a couple on hand so that you can do just about anything you want to do. Okay, so I am going to be using black memento ink for this particular one. And we are going to stamp this. Now remember with the craft alongs, it's not just me showing you. I'm going slow enough that you guys can stamp with me. And all you need to do is make sure that you get this stamped right in the center. All right, we're going to do all of our stamping first. I'm going to, when you guys get my PDFs, you will notice probably 99.9% of the time, when you get down to the instructions, it's always stamping, then die cutting. The only time I will have die cutting first is if it's one of those cases where you kind of need to die cut it first before you stamp on it. Okay, I should have left that open. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to bring in, and this was that, I think 3 by 4 piece of basic white. And we are going to take this large stamp and we are going to ink this up with black memento ink. This one we're not doing like a ton of die cutting, we're just doing a little bit of die cutting. And then what I did with this one is I just kind of brought this in about like that. And then you're just going to stamp that onto your basic white piece. You guys will notice that I do clean as I go. That is just something that I have gotten into the habit of. So that is what I do. Okay, so the next part that we're going to stamp is going to be on that 3 3/4 by 5 piece. So we're going to get all of our stamping out of the way. And then we're going to do our coloring. And then we're going, oh, we're going to do some more stamping on this, but I was trying to get all of the black memento done first. Okay. And I think I'm going to need another block. Okay. So again, this is from the So Sincere, and it just says, hope your day is a happy one. So even though this is going to be a just for you, you can make it a birthday, you can make it an anniversary, you can make it be whatever you want it to be. Okay, so we're going to stamp that like so. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up that big flower again. But this time I'm only going to ink up just this little side of the flower because I just want the little one. And then we're going to stamp this in this lower corner down here. Just like so. Okay, so that is most of the stamping, but now I'm going to bring in some colored ink, because we're going to add a little bit to this one. So bring this one back here. And if you guys are following along with me and I'm going too fast, please let me go. Or let me go. Let me go. Let me know. The problem is that I'm a little bit ahead of you, and so I don't know if like I don't know, like, if you're talking to me right as you're seeing it. I'm already on the next step, so just let me know. So I'm going to take this little, I call this kind of the hashtag image that's in here, and I'm going to bring in some Highland Heather ink, and I'm just going to stamp this a couple of places on this. You guys know I like these really cool images like this. It's kind of, I don't know why, but I like these. I just think that it gives it gives your cards a really cool look when you use them. All right, and then I'm going to wash that off, and then there's another little stamp in this set that I've got to get like names for these stamps, so that every time I have one that looks like that, I use the same verbiage, because I confuse myself sometimes. So we have this other one, and so I used to call these the grunge ones, but now they have so many of these. But basically it just kind of looks like a bunch of little pebbles or dots. And so I'm going to take some shaded spruce, and we're going to come in with some shaded spruce, and we're just going to kind of fill in a couple of the areas. Now with smaller stamps, I am going to warn you guys, these are the stamps that you really want to be good at going straight down and straight back up, because the smaller the stamp, the more tendency you have to rock it, and that's when you get those little shadows. So, and when I ink up, it's like tap tap, it's just really light. And then it's kind of like, they used to call it kissing the paper. It's just like I'm just barely touching it to the paper. Okay, so there's that. Okay, we're going to do some blending in just a bit, but first we are going to color these in with our blends. And for those of you that aren't making the cards along with me, I know this can be a little bit boring, so this might be a good time to go to the bathroom, take a potty break, go grab a snack, whatever you want to do while I'm doing this. I will try to be fast, but again, I want to go at a pace where all of you can also keep up with me. Now again, if you're using a different stamp set, like I said, you just needed a flower stamp set. So whatever flower you chose, you're going to stamp here. And hopefully your stamp set has some little tiny stamps that you can fill in like that. If not, and you don't have that in your stamp set, but you want to do this, just don't finish this complete card tonight. Just get all the stamping and stuff done, and then you can go find a stamp set that has some of these fun little pieces or images like that. So basically I'm taking my dark, and I'm just kind of drawing in the bottom of these, kind of where the lines already are. A lot of times when I'm blending, especially when we have stamps like this, where they've already kind of put in some detail, I just follow that detail. Let me get a little bit closer so you guys can see what I'm doing. There we go. I can move that up just a bit. Okay. Then I'm just going to come in, and I'm going to start from the bottom, and I'm just going to kind of push up with my light Highland Heather, because I feel like when you push up from the bottom like this, that it helps to blend those two colors together. This was a technique, Flora can tell you, this is a technique that we learned in Copic class that I never did get great at. And that's kind of why I fell in love with the Stampin' Up! Blends, because I didn't have to be good at flicking. They called it flicking, to get these to blend good together. So to me, I call the Stampin' Up! Blends an easy button. Don't get me wrong, I love my Copic markers. but I have a harder time getting those to blend the way I want them to than I do the Stampin' Up! Ones. And you guys know me, you know, when all is said and done, I really do like easy buttons. They're like my favorite thing in the world. You know, that's why I like dies. That's why I like punches, because I do fussy cut. Those of you that have taken my classes, you know I fussy cut, but it's not my favorite thing to do. If there's a way that I can get a tool that will actually cut it out for me, I'm all over it. Okay, then I'm going to bring in my Shaded Spruce blends and basically do the same thing, right? So now we're just going to take our leaves. And again, guys, if you don't have Stampin' Up! Blends, but you do have Copic markers, then this is where you're going to use your Copic markers, okay? So I'm just going to kind of fill in what was already on the stamp set. Yeah, Flora took that class with me. I do agree. Stampin' Up! Blends are definitely easy, but Copic markers are fun. I'm not going to say they're not fun. And that's funny that Flora is saying that, because I took the class with her and she was really good at the flicking technique. So that makes me feel better that Flora is saying that these are easier, because I always thought she did that. I was always sitting next to her at class and she was always really good at it. And I was like, ugh. And I know we shouldn't compare ourselves with other people, but it's hard sometimes when you're sitting in class and the person next to you is rocking it out and you're struggling. All right, here we go. All right, so we're just going to get that in there. And then I'm just going to go just with this lighter color, and I'm just going to kind of fill in the stem, because I wanted my stem to be green. Now you guys could do this gray, you could do it, you know, keep it black, whatever you want to do. But I am just going to fill those in. Yeah, I've kind of started doing my lives where I'm starting from start to finish, because I did do a new class to teach people how to get used to card making, but I did want to show you guys how to do this from start to finish, because a lot of times we just show you parts of it and then we're like, oh yeah, you know, you cut this out, oh yeah, you know, you do this, and a lot of you are going, no, we don't know, show me what we're supposed to be doing. So now I'm going to bring in one of our little blending brushes. Now this brush, I haven't washed it out since a class that we just used this on, so I probably have enough on here. And so all I'm going to do is, because I want it to be light, I'm going to start off and I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to shade these edges with this Highland Heather all the way around. And like I said, this had enough ink in it that I didn't need to re-ink it. And I don't know if you guys can see that the color is going on there. And then if you don't want to leave it like white in the middle, you can actually go over the whole thing with it as well. I kind of like it being a little bit lighter on the in the middle than the outside. Okay, so that one's done. So now we just need to do the same thing really quickly with this little flower that we stamped in here. So let's just do this one. So again, I'm just kind of using those lines that are already there. I try to not overcomplicate it when I'm blending. It's like if they're already going to give me a shadow line and they're already going to give me some accents, I'm going to go with the stamp and we're going to use that. Because after all, wouldn't that be another easy button, right? All right. We are actually doing a lot of coloring today. And I tried to stick, one thing that I want you guys to be aware of is you'll see me doing a lot of the same colors in my craft alongs. And the reason I do that is because for those of you that are just starting out, I don't want to overwhelm you with the amount of supplies that you need. And so I wanted you to be able to basically make almost all of the cards tonight with just the minimal amount of blends. And I think I used 3 sets of blends. I'm using Melon Mambo on another one. But that way you don't feel like you have to, you know, have so many things. Now the other thing too is if you have markers, you can use markers to color these in. If you have a flower that is a distinctive flower, a lot of times you can just stamp it with the ink and you're good to go. Okay, so all of our stamping is done. So the next step is to get the die cutting done. And for this one, there's really just the one thing that we're cutting out, and it's going to be that Just For You. And I'm going to bring in, I do have my die cut machine set up so I can just kind of switch over there and use it. So I'm going to do that. And oh, I forgot to tell you guys this. Because I want you guys to get used to when you're watching me. So when you're watching me and I have a die set like this that has a lot of dies in it, I number them. So I start with the smallest of that pattern and I label it with a 1. So this pattern, this is number 1, this is number 2 because it's the next biggest, this is number 3, and this is number 4. So that way if you're ever looking at my directions, you'll know exactly how to pick out. If you don't label yours, you'll know which one to use because you know my labeling system. So like this is the slotted one, which we're going to use. This was the number 1. This is the number 2. All right. So I just wanted to explain that ahead of time to you guys, because if you get my directions and it says use number 2, that's what it's talking about. All right. So let's switch over to my die cut machine. And you could use the mini die cut for this, but because I took the time to actually get this set up tonight, we're going to use it. So you just want to make sure that you've got that centered. And I use washi tape. This is that Post-it note stuff that I've told you guys a million times about. And then we're just going to roll that through. You know what? I'm going to turn this around so that my roller is to my left so I don't have to reach around. Okay, so we're just, whoops. Oh, I'm glad I looked at that. That moved. Always make sure before you roll it around, roll it through, that you check and make sure it hasn't moved. Okay, so now let's just get that to roll through. And now let's get back over to our desk. Woo! Am I making you guys dizzy? So that's nice and cut out. Now, you know, I know Susie's gonna die. I'm gonna throw this away, but you could use this. You could use it on another card. So I will advise you to use that stuff, but at this point in my life, I have so many scraps, I don't need extra scraps. So the only thing you want to make sure of before you put this on your card is you just want to make sure that everything that was supposed to cut out, cut out. And I use my take your pick tool if there's anything left inside of that. Okay, so I think that we are close to being able to put this together. I need to find whoops, sorry. I need to find the gems that I used for this one. Okay, so now we can bring in the front of our card, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take that smaller shaded spruce piece. This is the one that is 3.5 by 4.5, and we're gonna just put this on here at an angle so that it fits within the contours of the front of your card. So I'm showing you 3 cards tonight. I did make 4. The 4th one is definitely one that I'm going to show you how I stamped it, but it's definitely one that's going to need some coloring and time. So I chose not to do it as part of the live tonight because you guys would be like going crazy having to watch me color that much. Okay, and then what I want to do is I want to bring in some of our I love this ribbon. It's that sheer ribbon that has the, it's sheer white, but it has that silver metallic edge to it. And so this is going to kind of be at an angle. Oh, where's my... Oops. I did that wrong. I was afraid of that. I was thinking that I wanted to do it that way. Sorry. I'm going to take this back up really quick, but then I get to show you a good use for the silicone mat. I forgot that I didn't think I had wrapped the ribbon around this piece, but I did. This is what happens when you make cards so far in advance. So this still has the sticky, and it's still sticky. So when I make mistakes like that, I bring in my silicone craft sheet and I just stick it on here so that it doesn't stick to my paper. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to actually adhere this to this, and then we're going to wrap the ribbon around it. I forgot I had done that first, so I had to backtrack a little bit. And I am just using my Stampin' Seal Plus. Again, if you guys like liquid glue, use liquid glue. You guys use the adhesive that you guys like. There's people that don't like the tape runners. There's people that love the tape runners. There's people that don't like liquid glue. There's people that love the liquid glue. So, all right, so I think what we're gonna do is just go across like that. Okay, so now I can flip this over, and it's still sticky, so I haven't wasted anything. Yay! And then I don't have this cut for this purpose. If you guys got the kit, yours was cut. And so we're just basically gonna fold that around. You guys are gonna get to see me use my bow maker tonight too. So for those of you that that don't know what that is, you'll get to see that. The first time you place an order with me, I send you one of my bow makers for free. So if you've placed an order and you didn't get it, reach out to me, because I do miss people sometimes, and I do apologize for that. All right. I finally have a system where I can keep track of all that a little bit better than I have been. Okay, so now we're just going to lay that down like so. And what I like about it is when I put this on the card, it was straight. But then when I put it on here, it's kind of, the ribbon is kind of at an angle, and I wanted that look. I was really happy with that look. Okay, so here we go, guys. Bow maker time. Let me move this out of the way. So this is on the back side. So I know if you guys use this all the time, it becomes really easy to use. But I know the first few times that you use it, it can be a little bit overwhelming. So basically, we're going to use these two legs to make a small bow. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take this and we're going to wrap this through. Since we're working on these two legs, I'm going to bring this through, and it's going to go up between this section right here. And then I'm just going to kind of pull it over here to see how much ribbon I think I need, and I'll snip that. Okay, so now we're right here. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take this side and you're going to thread it through this top section right here between those two little legs. And then you pull that back, you bring it from the back, you bring it down and through the legs again and up. And then you're just going to bring this piece over and you're going to tie it. Now, if you're making a bigger bow, this is your center section right here. But I'm making a little bow. All right. So let's get that off. I'm going to set that to the side for a hot second because I want to be able to pop this up first. And I want to pop that up right there. So let's bring in my dimensionals. Isn't it crazy, like, how dang crowded my stamping station already is, and I'm just on card 1? I had it all nice and clean. You know, sometimes, honestly, I will clean my craft station, and I'll come down and see how clean it is, and I almost don't want to mess it up. That feeling doesn't last long. But But there are moments where I'm like, oh, it looks so pretty and clean. I can see where everything is. It's not a hot mess, because in most cases, you guys can't see off to the left and the right. It's a hot mess. One of these days I'll have to, maybe at the end of one of these, I'll have to pan to the left or the right and show you guys how scary it is. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. And I want to just get this on here straight. Because again, because everything's at an angle, it's sometimes really hard to get your sentiment on there straight. Okay, and then I'm going to come in with some mini glue dots. You guys are being awfully quiet. I hope there's somebody that's actually stamping along with me. So I think I'm going to put a couple of glue dots here. And I'll tell you why I always use a couple of glue dots. Because I like to kind of position the legs of my bows. And when I put 2 glue dots, that allows me to get those glue dots to kind of grab those legs as well as the bow portion. So I'm just going to stick those on there. This one's being really squirrely on this side. And then I'm just going to snip those down to the size that I want. And then let's put the inside in, and then I'll come back and I'll finish off the embellishment. So all we're going to do for the inside is this piece that we stamped. Hey Brenda, I'm glad you're here. So we're just going to add this on. One of the reasons I really wanted to use this set was because one of the things I heard a lot of people say was they were in love with the dies, but they weren't sure that they were in love with the stamp set. And after using the stamp set, guys, I'm in love with the stamp set. I like it as much as I like the dies. It's just, it just makes beautiful cards. We've got a fun fold card coming up tonight too, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Okay, so again, I'm just using my Stampin' Sale Plus. And I don't normally do cards like this where it's, you know, but again, if you guys already had some stuff cut that was the 5.5 by 8.5 that opens this way, this card would have worked fine for that too. Okay, then the last thing that I'm going to do, these are some of my all-time favorite gems right now. And it is the adhesive back sparkle gems. I love, love, love them. And so I am just going to pull a few of these little puppies off of here. Oops. My putty was, I just put a new putty in here, and it's kind of overflowing a bit. All right. So I think I'll just kind of put one here. Remember, what we try to do is kind of make a triangle. We also try to use like odd numbers when we're putting embellishments on. So for those of you that are watching that are new to card making, it is just something that people have discovered. Oh, hi Christine, you're from Illinois, so welcome. So a lot of times we like to have the same, we like to have odd numbers because it's a little more pleasing to the eye. Okay, so there is card 1. And it says just for you, and then on the inside it says hope your day is a happy one. Now again, I did use the So Sincere stamp, the sentiments from this one for this, because you guys know me, I'm always telling you, have a couple of sentiment stamp sets that you can rely on to fill in what you need. And the nice thing about this, guys, is a just for you, hope your day is a happy one. This can be any day. It could be graduation, it could be anniversary, it could be birthday, it could be anything that's going on in their lives, right? Or just, hey, I hope you have a good day because I know life's been a little bit rough. So there is card 1. All right, guys, we are ready to move on to card 2. Again, it's going to be a lot of the same type of stamping and coloring because, like I said, I do have some people that are just getting started in their journey into creating stamps, and I don't want them to feel like they have to jump up and buy everything. I know I kind of did that, but you know, hey, it's probably not the best idea. Okay, so for this one, again, we're using a thick basic white card base. So for those of you that ordered ahead of time and have the card kits, this should be in card kit 2. And so you want to just pull everything out. I'm going to go over what's in there. Yours is already cut out for you. So all of your pieces are cut. So you will not have to cut your pieces. But again, if you guys are following along and you are using your own designer series paper and stuff, I am trying to go slow enough so that you can follow along as well. All right, hold on. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I didn't use any different things on this one. Okay, alrighty, so you need this, and then you're going to need 3 squares that are also thick basic white, and the measurements of these are 3 3/4 by 3 1/2, and this one is 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. And again, if you got the kits, this is all cut for you. But if you're following along tonight and you want to make this card with designer series paper and stamp sets that you have at home, please play with me, guys. Please stamp along with me. And this is a 2 by 2. Then you're going to need some designer series paper. Now, the designer series paper that I chose to use is this is paper that I feel is overlooked because we get so ooh ah about all of the designer series paper that come in the suite. We forget about, in each of our families, so in our Subtles, our Brights, our Regals, we have a 6x6 pack of paper. And I just want to take this out so you guys can see. We are using this one. So while I'm explaining this, guys, whatever designer series paper you're using, you need one that is cut 4 by 5 1/4. So while you guys are getting caught up on your cutting, let me just show you how pretty these can be. They have every time a new catalog comes out, they change the patterns. So I have a lot of this that have a bunch of fun different patterns, but I just kind of wanted to show you the patterns this year. And they have like all of the color families have all the same designs. So I'm just going to kind of go through this one. So there's one pattern, and then the back of this one is stripes. And then, sorry, get my hand on it. But again, you're going to get 2 of every design in every color in the color family. So that one is that design. And on the back of that, it's got like the little dots. And then, let me see, are those the patterns? Yeah, so those are the patterns in this year's, I call them the family colors. So you can get this in Subtles, Brights. It's the same pattern, but it's in the colors of that family. Okay, so hopefully you guys that are going along with me, you guys are caught up. You're also going to need a basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4. And you guys, I gave a tip on this in my VIP group that I have a lot of these 4 by 5 1/4 that I have cut out that I just have kind of sitting on a shelf right here, because 4 by 5 1/4 is probably the most popular mat that you're going to use as far as on the front or on the inside of a card. So I have a bunch of these already cut, so that's easy. Then you're going to need 2 basic black or whatever goes with your designer series paper. If you have designer series paper where black's not going to look good, then don't use black. Both of these are 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And the reason is because I had to go up 1/8 to get that little bit of a edge for my basic white piece. So anytime you want that really tight edge like that, you're just going to go up 1/8. So you just kick everything up 1/8. So this was 4 by 5 1/4. So now it's going to be 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I just kicked up the dimensions by 1/8. Okay. So now let's do this one. Okay, so kind of the same stamping. So let's get So we're going to be stamping on this, get all the pieces that we're going to stamp on. So we're going to stamp on our 3 squares and our 4 by 5 1/4. So on this square, we are going to stamp from the stamp set this little sentiment that says thanks. And we are doing that in black memento. Again, you guys can see I didn't use a lot of other ink pads either, because if you guys are wanting to get started, again, I want to show you how you can have, you know, some few basics. And black memento is one of those basics that you want to have. So that's definitely a stamp pad I would buy, is that black memento, because you'll find yourself, you use it a lot when you're blending, and you just use it a lot in general. Okay, the next thing that we're going to stamp on this next square is the little butterfly that's in the set. So I'm going to ink that up, and you can see I'm just tapping, and then I always do kind of look at my stamp and make sure it has a good coverage of ink, and we want to get these right in the middle. So there's that. Let me clean that off. And then our last one is going to be that big flower again. And again, we can't get it right in the middle because obviously it is bigger than, I hope I cut that. I have that piece big enough. It's going to come off here. We are going to be die cutting these out into circles, but it's okay if you cut off part of the limb at the bottom. The most important is, because I know that the die that I'm using for this is going to put a border, I kind of want this a little bit lower, but I do want it centered. All right, so using the same colors, I know, are we getting bored? I figured I would use purple tonight because purple's kind of a, especially with the ladies in my group, purple's kind of a favorite color for everybody. So let's just color these really quick, just like we did before. So this is that flower again. And you guys can kind of see how quickly, again, that's why I love these blends, because it just comes out so pretty. And you guys can take, just so that you guys know, when I'm on screen, I do this fairly quickly. But if you want more shading, and I'll show you on this one in just a second, if you want it more shading where you can actually, you know, really tell that this is darker down here, all you have to do once you do this step that I'm doing right now is come back in with your dark and put some more dark in. So like, let's say I wanted this to be shaded a little bit darker. I'm sorry, let me bring you in closer. So let's say I wanted that flower to be a little bit darker. So I'm gonna come back in with my dark, and I'm just gonna make it darker. So I'm just gonna come in, and then you'll wanna go over that again with your lighter color, because you still want to keep everything blended. And this looks a little funky right now, but it's going to dry, and I'll show it to you after I get done coloring all these other ones. But that's how you can make this be more like what you want, if you want the shadings to be a little bit darker. I don't spend a lot of time doing that on camera, just because I'm trying to go as I'm trying to oh good, Cynthia, I'm glad you like the purples. I'm trying to be conscious of your guys' time. So I went out of the line right here. I don't know if you can see that, but that's what the color lifter is for. You can actually push that color right back in when you go out of line like that. So that's the magic of the color lifter. So let's finish off this flower and these leaves. So I hope that explained a little bit better about how you can, let me bring this up closer. Can you see that leaf now? How by coming back in with the dark, it gave it, you know, it just gave it a darker shading than what I did in the first card. So the fun thing about the blends is that when you're, hey Bonnie, I'm so glad you're here. So the fun thing about the blends is when you're at home blending, you know, you can kind of take your time and get it to be exactly the way that you want it to be. So again, I know some of you are just kind of coming in, but I already colored this the first time. And if you guys, if it's your first time with my craft along, this is the one where I pretty much go step by step, because I have some ladies that made a $40 purchase from me, and they got the card kits for this craft along free. So there, I've got some people that are actually doing this along with me. And so I don't want to go so fast, because I know I am a very fast colorer. I think that, you know, when you do this so much, you do get fast. But I do want you guys to know you can take your time, and even if you're watching me live, this is going to be up on both of these sites later. So I went out there a little bit, so I'm going to come in with that color lifter again. But you'll be able to go back and watch this and pause me if I went too fast. Okay, so there's the flower. So now we're going to do the butterfly, which I did not know. I did not do the first time. Yeah, Cynthia, it's a beautiful stamp set, and it's called the Spotlight on Nature stamp set. And yeah, I love it. I wasn't sure I was gonna like it. And now that the more I've done with it, the more I like it. Okay, so this butterfly, I did some things I normally don't do. So I'm gonna show you how to use 2 different colors of blends, okay? So what we're gonna do again is I'm just kind of coming from the bottom and moving up, and I'm just kind of deciding like where I want the darker to be. But I'm actually gonna bring some black in. So I'm actually kind of carrying this dark, and I think I want to do this one dark down here, and let's see, maybe like one of these dark. And I'm just gonna color that whole thing in dark, okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in with my lighter color, and I'm actually going to kind of go over everything with the lighter color to start out with, but I am going to be bringing in black too. So I'm just going to kind of bring this in, and I'm just going to very quickly, because I do my finishing touches when I get all of my colors on here together. So this part you can actually go fairly quickly, and I'm just kind of going in a circular motion. And I do suggest for those of you that are just starting out with the blends, I find it easier to start learning how to blend with the pen tip. Yeah, Cynthia, you can come back and do the rewatch later. Absolutely. Because I've already done one card, but we'll do it. We're doing this card, and then the next card is the Fun Fold card. So you're definitely going to want to watch that one. So I kind of do my blending. Well, now I want to come in with my light basic black, because I wanted to add some black highlights to this butterfly. But what I was saying is that I kind of come in and I go really fast kind of the first time through when I'm, you know, first kind of looking at the design. And then as I get more detailed and I put some more colors in here, then I kind of take my time to kind of stop and take a look at it and see if I feel like I need to add some more color anywhere, or like come back in with my purples. So I'm actually going to kind of color some of these little leaves here. Leaves. I'm saying leaves, and it's the butterfly's wings. Okay, so I kind of wanted to do that. So now I'm actually going to come back in with that light color, and I'm going to kind of just blend this just to kind of make it so that there's not really a line. It kind of blends. Those really don't need it, but this one especially needed that to be not as a stark edge right there. Okay, now you could go back and do more to it, but isn't that fun adding black to your blending, especially on butterflies? How pretty is that? Okay, so let's see. Oh, I forgot. I always forget the inside. I told you we were going to do all the stamping, and then I got carried away with the coloring. Okay, so we're going to, I believe, I got to look and see what stamp set I used for this card. Oh, okay, so for this one I used Unbounded Love. So remember I told you I always have a couple of stamp sets that have a bunch of kind of different things, and so this time I used this one, and I put your, let me find it. Your A True Blessing is the one that I'm using out of this one. And these one are photopolymer. So I'm just going to pull off one of those and just stick this on here. And again, I just did black memento ink. Again, ladies, when you're doing the craft alongs with me, I really am trying to stick to minimal colors when I'm doing this, just so that it makes it easier for those that are just starting with Stampin' Up! And may not have all of the supplies yet, right? And so I just want to show you how you can work with what you have. And I hope some of you that don't have the designer series paper that I have tonight, or the colors that I had tonight, I truly hope that some of you have actually used some of the stuff that you have at home, because, you know, one of the things, you know, is I like you to have all the new stuff. I like to have all the new stuff. But I also hate to see a bunch of stuff sitting on shelves and not being used. So, you know, anytime that we are crafting along, pull out your stash and just go craft along with me. I mean, because if you had a flower where you didn't have to color in, then you're a step ahead of me right now, right? Okay, so let me do this really quick. And then we're going to do some die cutting, and then we're going to be almost done with this card. So I'm actually putting a lot more dark down here, because that's another way to get it darker, is to start out putting it darker. And then you can come in and blend it. And like I said, I like to come from the bottom and push up. It's kind of like a little flicking motion, like I said earlier, that I still don't think I have down. And then I'll kind of come back over and kind of in my circular motion, go across that line where the colors meet and blend that as well. Okay, and then let's just get the leaves done, and then we're going to do some die cutting, and then we are going to be ready to put this card together. Woohoo! Does anyone have any questions while you are watching me color? And I'm glad that so many people are liking this stamp set. You know, the one thing I will tell you about any Stampin' Up! Catalog is that it's so hard to really see any of this stuff inside the catalog. I don't think any of it's like super easy to see. And sometimes you see a stamp set and it just doesn't speak to you, but then you see other people use it and you're like, oh my gosh, now I like that stamp set. Okay, so now we are going to bring these dies in. And so I am using the dies that have the flowers on them this time. And so I'm going to tell you which one I'm using for which one. So I'm using the number 3 floral on this flower. Okay. And then I'm guessing I'm using the number 2 on the butterfly. And then I'm going to be using, I'm pretty sure, and I've got to actually, I just realized My granddaughter was using this one earlier and she didn't clean the die before she put it back in here. So let me just poke out all the little pieces. And I believe I used the number 1, yeah, for the thanks. Okay, so that's what you're gonna watch me do. Do I have a class on the stamping blends? So Cynthia, you need to request to be part of my VIP group on my Facebook page. Just like send me a friend request and I'll add you to my VIP group, because I am going to be doing techniques in that VIP group at least once a week, and stamping blends is going to be one of the ones that I do. So yes, that is going to be part of that. Okay, let's switch over to the die cut machine. And let's see if I can get all these on the same time, and that will just make this so much quicker. So this is our Stampin' Cut die cut machine. And so these are detailed dies. So if you guys have never seen this, this kind of is your guide on what to do. And so we're using the thin dies. And so it's telling me I need this plate number 1. And then I need number 2. Well, the nice thing is once you lay number 2 down, it still has the rest of your directions. So now you're not like, oh, I just covered my directions. So then it says we need 1 and 2, and then we need a number 3. And then you're going to put your paper in your dies, and then the other number 3, which are normally clear plastic, but I have used mine quite a bit. So mine are no longer clear plastic. Okay, so we're going to try to get all of these on here. So I want to make sure that this die doesn't cut off the top edge. So I'm just going to place that on there and either use washi tape or whatever you have to hold this in place so it doesn't move. Now we're going to bring in that butterfly one. And again, I want to make sure I don't go off that top edge. So here's some washi tape that I had sticking. If you guys can't see, I have it all sticking kind of to the top of this. That way it's easy for me to grab. Actually, I think I want to center that a little bit more. And also realize, guys, I go faster than you normally need to go when you're die cutting. If you don't have this set, use any kind of layering circles or circle punches that you might have at home. You'll just want 3 different sizes to punch out, okay? So you could use punches for this. You could use, if you guys have some of the Stampin' Up had some layering circle dies a while back. The deckled, oh, sorry, this one, I saw it move, so I got to fix it. All right. So you could use the deckled circles. We had the old layering circles a while back. If you have 3 different sizes of punches, then basically what you do differently is you just cut your paper. You cut your squares a little bit bigger so that it will fit whatever it is that you are cutting out. Make sense? All right. So now we're going to just pull this off carefully. And look how pretty. I'm going to clean these out later. I may have to clean them out in just a second because I am using those. I also want to, oh, I don't think I went back. Sorry. I still had you on the die cut machine. I'm just getting used to having my camera over my die cut machine. So we're just going to pull these off and set those over there, and I'm just sticking my dies right back on my magnetic holder. And those magnetic holders, by the way, are the actual, you can get them at Lowe's or Home Depot. I'm going to show you what they are. They are the vent covers, and they come 3 in a pack, and they're this big, and I just cut them down to fit my dies. So there's a little tip for you guys. All right. Okay, so now we have our 3 circles. Now, again, I'm just going to take my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to just kind of make sure that all the little pieces that we're supposed to cut out, because sometimes they like to stay in. So I'm just going to take a quick look around and make sure all of those popped out. Most of them do, but sometimes we have a couple stubborn ones. All right, so now we are ready to put this card together. So here we go. So remember that card base. So we have our card base. We're going to burnish that edge with our bone folder. We are going to take this and we are going to secure it to one of those basic black pieces. Yeah, and so Cynthia, as far as like the blending, it's not hard once you get used to it and once you get going. And so I am going to do a technique class on blending. Basically, it's just going to be a video of me showing you how to do some different types of blending with the alcohol. These are our alcohol base markers. Okay, so that's going to go on the black, and then this is going to go on the front. And remember what I told you, if you're just wanting that little itty bitty edge like I'm showing on this card, then whatever measurement your white piece is, or your designer series paper is, you just want to go 1/8 of an inch bigger. And that gives you this tiny like border. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and do the inside while I've got that. So again, basically it's just the white onto the black, and then they're both going to go to the inside of the card. And then as soon as I'm done with this one, we're going to do the fun fold card, and then I am going to show you the fourth card that I did, which was stamping and blending. I'm just not going to do the blending because you guys would shoot me if you had to watch me color all of those. And I may actually, I'm going to do the stamping for that, and I may actually, Cynthia, if you send me that friend request, I'll get you in the group, but that may be the technique that I show this week is blending, and then you'll get to see that. That would be that's kind of a good one for me to, since I'm already going to be stamping it, showing you how to stamp it, and I can do the coloring in the VIP group. Okay, so again, don't make the mistake that I have a kabillion times. Okay, so here's my front. I always want to make sure I know where the front is before I put the inside in, because we've done it upside down, we've done it on the back, we've done it in a bunch of different places. Oh yay! Okay, Cynthia, I'm glad you're enjoying this, because yes, this is a beautiful bundle, beautiful bundle. Okay, so there we go. So now I'm going to bring in these pieces here, and I'm only going to pop one of them up. The big one I'm actually going to have down straight, and I'm actually going to use and I have to use my small one because I ran out of this. This is basically just our liquid glue, and I've just put it in a smaller, tinier, I like the thinner outlay of glue so that I don't get glue everywhere. So we're just going to place that on here like so. Are we loving purple tonight? I hope so. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to I do this, I call this my dry run. So I want the thanks to be down here, and it's going to be solid, but then I want this butterfly. This is the one that I'm going to pop up. So I kind of did my dry run where I placed it where I like it. I always do that before I glue stuff down, just to make sure that everything fits the way that I want it to fit. And I do want these to overlap just a bit. And then we're going to bring in some dimensionals for this one. And we're going to bring in those sparkle gems in just a second as well. Okay. It's like y'all know I just had my take your pick tool. I set it down and I couldn't find it. So we're just going to put, and the one thing I will tell you, if you plan on sending cards, guys, go ahead and put a ton of dimensionals on the back of this. Because you know it goes through that rolly thing at the, post office, and it'll push all your dimensionals down. So you know, build an army of dimensionals so that they will stay popped up when whoever you're sending the cards to get it. Okay, so that one's popped up. And then to finish this one off, again, I am just bringing in these sparkle backed gems, and we're going to use the black ones. And I don't think I have any more of the small blacks, so I'm just going to use the big ones because I can. And so I'm just using the putty end of my Take Your Pick tool to pick those up off of here. And again, we're trying to do a triangle. Whoop, whoop. Guys, card 2 is done. What do you think? Yeah, I have a lot of people who come to my card class that purple is their jam. So isn't that beautiful, guys? So it says, thanks. I use that subtle designer series paper, which I thought was perfect for this card. And then you're a true blessing. And again, guys, you could put happy birthday here. You can make these cards anything that you want to make them. Okay, are we ready for our fun fold card? It's like whoop, whoop. Everybody do a chair dance and get ready. Because this one is going to be fun. All right. So for this one, again, if you guys got the kits, then all these pieces are cut for you, but let me just talk about everything that we're going to use for this one. Okay, again, thick basic white card base. It is 5.5 by oh my gosh, help me, 8.5. I'm losing it tonight, ladies. And let me get you the exact where you score this. And it is scored at 2 1/8 and then 4 1/4. Okay. So when you fold this, the 4 1/4 fold is going to fold like you normally do. And then of course you're going to burnish that edge. And then you are going to fold this back like so. Okay, so then it's going to open like this, but it's got a little mechanism that goes on the inside. So this was 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 2 1/8 and then 4 1/4 to get this little fold. All right, the next pieces that you are going to need is let me do the white pieces first. So you're going to need, and again, you can use whatever designer series paper you have at home. And so you're going to need a piece of white that is 1.5 by 2. And again, guys, understand this is to do what I need it to do as far as cutting out or stamping like my butterfly, my flowers. So if you need a different size to cut these things out, then obviously you would need to adjust. Okay, so that, and then we need a 2.5 by 2.5. and a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And then this little piece is our mechanism piece. And this little mechanism piece is 2 1/4 by 3. And it is scored at 3/4. So you score it at 3/4. So basically what I did, let me show you what I did. Let me pull my trimmer down. Because I always, when I have these little short scores, I always do my first score, I line it up to the right. So I lined it up to 3/4 and I scored it. Then I turned it completely around and I went to the next one, which was 1.5. So then I went to 1.5 and I scored it. And then the next one is 2 1/4 and I scored it. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. All right. And for this, you're just basically going to do all mountain folds. So what mountain folds mean, for those of you that are new, is mountain means I'm folding it up to make it look like a mountain. So I'm folding it up, mountain fold, folding it up, mountain fold. Okay, and then I am going to burnish all of those folds. Because especially with fun fold cards, guys, you really want to do that burnishing, because that's what it really helps your cards to do what it's supposed to do. Okay, done. Okay, then you need, I chose Melon Mambo because it matches the designer series paper that I'm using. Whatever color you need to pick to match your designer series paper is fine. This one needs to be 3.5 by 3.5. And then I have a shaded spruce that is 3 by 3. And then this is that Full of Life designer series paper. And this had some white edging around it. And so when the first cut, it has a white border. I cut that border off before I cut these down. And so you're gonna need 2 of these that are 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. So that's 2 of those. 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. And then I picked this beautiful piece. And this is gonna be 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. Gonna move some stuff. We're gonna do our stamping first, then we're gonna put this sucker together. Okay, so for this one, I am going to stamp the word thanks. And I'm gonna pretty much kind of put that not quite in the middle, but kind of in the middle, but more to the left. That made absolutely no sense, right? Kind of to the middle, but more to the left. Oh my gosh. I'm glad you guys put up with me. All right, then I'm going to come in with the butterfly. Wait till you see how I color this little sucker. And then I kind of went that where the thanks is straight. And so this butterfly, all of it's not going to show. Oh, that was a bad stamp. Oh, I didn't get that inked up. Okay, let's just turn this one over because I wasn't happy with that thanks anyway. Aren't we lucky we have 2 sides of every piece of paper? The only time that doesn't work is if you stamp something and started blending, because our alcohol blend markers bleed through. All right, so let me make sure I've got this on here. There we go, that's better. And then for this one, actually let me do this one since I've already got that little tiny one. We want another butterfly. And so my family's returning home. Hopefully you guys won't hear them, but I do have some grandchildren in the house, so it could get louder than I would like it to be. Okay, and then where's our other sentiment? It is, oh, I did a masking technique on this one, but let me do the flower first. So we're going to use this little flower here, and we're going to bring that up kind of in the middle on this one. Okay, and then we are going to use a masking technique because the dear friend was a little bit too large, like to go across. I didn't think it was going to fit, so we're going to do a quick masking technique here. I'm just going to use, we do have masking paper, but I'm just going to use my Post-it note thing. So I'm going to cover up the friend, and then I am going to ink up dear. This is the most important step. Pull this off before you stamp. I cannot tell you how many times both myself and people who have been at my classes have forgotten that stamp. That's step. Okay, so now I want to come in and I just want to put the deer here like that. Clean this off, and then we're going to cover up the deer This is a really good way if you have these stamps that are too long, or you don't want all the words, you only want part of the words. This is how you do it. You don't have to buy another sentiment stamp because you wanted dear and friend to be separate. You can separate them. All right, so let's pull that off. And then we're going to come up here and we are going to stamp friend right there. Okay, so it looks like that. So yeah, so guys, always, you know, when you're looking for particular words, oh, I forgot to tell you, you need this little piece too, and I'll tell you the size of that in a second. Yeah, look at all of your sentiment stamp sets, because I guarantee you, you can mask off some and get the exact wording that you want for whatever it is that you're making. Okay, so now we're going to do some Melon Mambo coloring. Whoop, whoop. So here's my Melon Mambo, and it's the same technique, guys, right? We're going to come in with our dark and fill in those areas that we want to be darker. And then come in with our lighter color. And then just push it up from the bottom. All right, so do you see how I'm just drawing lines and I'm just pushing up from the bottom? Okay, we're just pushing it up. And guys, I know these videos go a little bit longer, but I hope it's worth it for you to actually see me from start to finish do a card, because I know half the time I'm just like, oh, I did this ahead of time. Oh, I did this ahead of time. And, you know, I just kind of feel like I wanted to back it up a little bit and take some time to really teach people how to make these cards. Okay, so again, this was just the shaded spruce. There's that. Okay, so now I'm going to come in and I'm going to color this one. Now, I did something really fun with this one. Except, I mean, I thought it was fun. You will see if you guys think it's fun. So I'm going to start with the dark. Actually, I'm going to start with the shaded spruce. So what I wanted to do was, again, show you guys that you guys can blend different colors together with our blends. And so I'm doing the light shaded spruce. Okay, and then I'm just going to come in with the light Melon Mambo. And again, I'm just going to kind of push up a little bit, because what that does is it kind of makes a little purple line. So it actually adds even another color when we blend two colors together. Okay, so let me bring this in closer. There we go. Okay, so I just wanted to bring that out a little bit more. So we're going to go a little bit higher. And then we're going to come in with our dark Melon Mambo and take this up even higher. So I didn't want to go quite like down as low, so I'm just going to go ahead and put in the darker color up here, and then I'm going to come in with that lighter color, and we will match them up. But isn't that cool how you can take two completely different colors of your blends and put them together to create even another color on our pretty butterfly? Oh, good, Cynthia. I'm so glad you're not minding this because you're new at this. But, well, welcome. I'm so glad that you have entered into the world of card making. We all love having new people come in. Then that just makes more of us to share all this around, right? Okay, so see how fun that was? Oops, let me try to... Can you guys see that purple line by doing the shaded spruce? And do you see that fun little purple line that goes right through? So how fun is that? Okay, so for this butterfly, we're gonna do pretty much the same thing. So we're gonna start with, and you guys are gonna get to see me fussy cut. I know. Ugh. And you guys can see I'm not, oh, sorry. I've got it out of the screen. Let me bring you guys back out. So sorry. Oh, so you've been away for 10 years, and so you have some supplies. Okay. But there are all sorts of new items. Yes, I know. There's so many new techniques and items. Yeah, I agree. I mean, yes, I'm sure it's kind of a whole new world for you, huh, Christine? Okay. So now we're coming in with this lighter color, and you guys can see I'm not being like real particular, right? I'm just kind of coloring it in. That's kind of the thing I like about the blends, is that you don't have to, like, you know, you have to stay inside these lines, but you don't, you know, you can just blend these things together. And I mean, for me, again, I think it's another easy button, because I think it makes coloring and blending so easy. Now, the one thing that I'm going to do on this one, because I'm getting some stark lines between the two pinks that I don't really like. So then if you don't like those stark lines, that's where you come back with your light and you just do a circular motion where those lines are, and it takes out the harshness of those lines. All right, butterfly done. Okay, now where are we? Oh, fussy cutting. Boo hiss, boo hiss. That's the only thing that I will say is a downfall to this. I love the die sets, but man, they could have at least added a butterfly, right? Okay, so let's talk about fussy cutting. So fussy cutting basically means that you're not cutting straight on the line. You're leaving yourself a little bit of an edge. And when I do this, I really don't move my scissors around the object. I'm moving my left hand to put this basically into the scissors where I want it. So you'll see me moving on the left, and see how I just kind of take that paper and I'm just turning that paper. I'm not moving my scissors. It's the paper that I'm moving with my left hand to get around those edges. Now, sometimes I do have to like scoot my scissor forward just like that, because I am at a point, whether it's in the design, that I need to turn into. And so my scissors sometimes have to be in a different position to get around these corners. But for the most part, I am turning everything with this left hand to get around and do this fussy cutting. And when you get to these antennas, you can cut these as tight as you want to. I'm not really going to. I'm going to leave some white space in between the antennas and the butterfly wings. Voila! There's our fussy cut butterfly. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the die cut machine and we're going to cut a few things out. So you're going to need your 2 colored cardstock pieces, and you're going to need these 2 pieces. Okay, so this time I am using, oh, I had to find my dies. My dies got buried. What a surprise! Okay, so this time I am using these again, the flowered, but I'm only using 2 of them. And so this flowered one is going to cut out the dear friend, and this is the number 2. And then I'm using this plaited one, and I believe it's the number 3. And that's the one that's going to cut out around this. And you can see it's cutting part of it. It's going to cut part of it off. And then for this piece, I'm using the number 3 flowered one. And then for this piece, I might have done that backwards. Let me look. Oh no, that's right. Is that right? Oh yeah. For this piece, I'm using the same die as this one, the number 3. Oh, sorry. I had you guys in too much. Yeah, I agree, Susie. I wish they would put dies in here to cut the flowers, the butterflies, all that good stuff. Okay, let's go back to the die cut machine and let's get all of this cut out. And then we'll be ready to pretty much put the card together. Okay. So, I don't have to be as particular with this one because I don't have an image that I'm worried about surrounding. So I'm going to sit that down. So I'm probably just going to cut 2 out at a time here. So this one, I want to make sure I have the thanks in there really well and part of that butterfly. That's why I cut these, when I'm doing things like this, I cut my pieces a little bit bigger so that it gives me a little bit more wiggle room to move the dies around once I've stamped it and gotten it over here. Now you could definitely stamp, die cut these out before and then stamp on them. I've just found it easier to stamp first. All right, so let's get those cut out. Believe it or not, this fun fold's gonna go together pretty fast. Okay, so this one, I'm just gonna set that over at the desk and I'll show them to you in just a second. But I need this same size for that shaded spruce piece. So let me move this one. Sorry, I'm just trying to get all of this stuff flicked off and out of the way. All right. Now we are going to put this one on here. Again, I don't have to be as particular because I'm not trying to work around something that I've stamped. This is the one I need to work with because I want the flower to be in there and then I want the dear friend to be in there. Okay. So let's move that through. And again, I'm going to clean my dies later. I don't want to take the time to do that and waste your guys' time. All right, so now let's switch back over to my desk. Where's that one? There we go. We're back. Okay, so because I didn't clean them, and this is why I'm telling you it's good to clean your dies. Because I didn't clean them, you can see that this didn't all cut out. It cut it, it just didn't pop it out. And that's because when I cut those white ones out, some of these little tiny pieces were still stuck in the die. So again, just you know, a tip is make sure that your dies are cleaned and there's no small pieces left in your dies that will cause it so that this takes you longer like I'm having to do right now. Okay, so there's that one. And then this one wasn't quite as bad, but it did the same thing. Okay, now I do want to bring these closer to you because I want you, this is that plaited one, and I really like this one too. Look how pretty that is. Can you guys see that? I really like that edge. And I did that with the green and the white. Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is this flower one is going to go on the inside of the shaded spruce. And again, I'm just using my liquid glue, and this is the Tombow green glue that we lovingly call green glue. I've just put it in a different container. Okay, so that's down. The nice thing about using the liquid glue is it gives you a little wiggle room so that if you don't get things put down exactly. Remember, this is the one that I messed up. So you can see some stamping on the background. And then that one is going to fit centered into this. All right. Oh, I got some glue. Let me bring in my glue eraser. Okay, so then you should have two pieces that look like this. And if you're using layering circles, deckled circles, same thing. You just want to have a white on the inside and the color on the outside. All right, now let's bring in our card base, and we're going to add some of this designer series paper before we put that mechanism on. So we're going to take this piece and it's going to go on this one right here. Isn't this side pretty too? This paper, I'm telling you, sometimes I have the hardest time with what side to use. But I really like this paper. It's very pretty. It's very cheery. It makes me happy. Okay, so we're just going to, again, just kind of get that centered where our bottom and left and right edges are the same distance apart. And then we're going to put these two pieces are going to go here and here. Okay, so let's put that one on the front. And I gave you these dimensions ahead of time, you know. And again, guys, remember, you know, if you've watched this and now you want the card kits, all you got to do is place a $40 order with me. You will get the card kits, and you also get the PDF instructions, the step-by-step instructions, so that you can remake these cards over and over again using what you have at home. Or if you guys decide to step up and get this bundle and purchase some of this designer series paper, then you can make it exactly. If you get the card kits that you get, you will get all of this paper, and all of this will be cut for you. I'm just trying to make sure that this one is even with that other one. Okay. Okay, so then I told you we needed a little strip, and I believe this is 5/8. Yeah, it's 5/8 by 2 1/8. And it always takes me a minute. So it's gonna go, so remember this little mechanism? It's gonna go in the second section right here on that mechanism. I think I'm gonna use some just liquid glue for this, just so I can get it in place. We're almost done, guys, and then I'll just show you my last card. Wiggling a little too much. Okay, I like to use tear and tape when I am doing cards that have mechanisms, because I just feel like it's going to be moving a lot, and so it needs to have that extra oomph. So this is tear and tape, and basically it's a two-sided tape, and so on this side, on this side over here, and it allows you just to tear it off just like that. So I'm going to put it two little strips like so, and then again I'm going to use that bone folder and burnish those so that when I pull that paper up. And then we're also going to need two strips on this one that's on the left side of that designer series paper. All right, and then here's this one. And I think this was a card, this design, I did a retreat, an online retreat with Lisa Curcio and Kylie Pertucci, and I believe this was one of theirs. If it's not, I'm sorry for whoever came up with this, because it's really pretty. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to work with this side first. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I am going to remove, and it takes me a while to remember this, so bear with me. I made this a while ago and I always forget which side to start with to lay down. I'm pretty sure it's this one. Okay, so then what I want to do, and I don't want to put this down solid yet, but I want to go all the way up to, see, remember, here's our score line. I don't want to go over the score line, but I want to get pretty close to the score line, and I want it centered top and bottom. So I'm going to try to get as close to that score line as I can. This is another reason why it's really important to burnish, and then I'm just going to push that down. Then we're going to fold this and remove these two, and basically we're just going to close that on top of it, okay? So there's that, and then I'm just going to hold that, and I'm just going to take this and I'm going to close it shut. And then you guys see I'm pushing really hard because I want that to, it's going to be moving and I want to make sure it has time to stick. So now when I open it, it's got that little mechanism right there. How cute is that? Okay, here comes the tricky part. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to take this piece, the bigger piece, and it is going to basically be secured right here. And I am going to use some liquid glue, but I'm trying to think, how did I do this last time? I think I just guessed. So I'm going to take this and I am going to adhere this, and I did use liquid glue, which means you have to kind of let it dry a little bit more. You could put a really thin strip right here of tear and tape, which we might try that. I'm just afraid. I'm always afraid I'm going to get tear and tape where I don't want it. Because again, this can't go all the way to the edge. Yeah, I guess it can go all the way to the edge. So I'm just trying to gauge, like, I could put like a little tiny piece of tear and tape, but again, I don't know if it's going to be straight, so I think it might be easier. Let's do this. It might be easier just to do a piece of tear and tape. Don't go all the way down to the bottom and don't go all the way to the top. I think this might be the easier way to do that. And we're going to pull that up, hopefully without pulling up the, okay. And then I'm going to go ahead, and again, I'm kind of measuring, but I'm going to go ahead and right on this edge right here, I'm going to give it a little bit more security, and I'm going to put some liquid glue, okay? So now I am ready to put this in place, making sure it's straight. Okay, so now I can just kind of close that and secure that in place. Now, here's the tricky part. If that wasn't tricky enough, what we just did. So now what we want to do is, because this was the same size as this, so when you're putting this on the front, you want to make sure that that completely covers that white piece in there. This one is a little bit easier to do, and I'll show you why, because you can get it in place and you can open it and kind of turn it to the back side and bring in a pencil and just kind of mark with a pencil. Hopefully that marked. And now when I turn that over, here's my pencil line. So that means I can't get any glue on this side of the pencil line. Okay, but I can. And I do want to use liquid glue for this. I was going to use the tear and tape, but then I thought about it because I do need this to be able to have some wiggle room so that I can make sure that it is positioned right over this white one. Okay, so now I'm going to put this side down first because that's the side without the glue. Make sure my sentiments are straight. And then we're just going to hold that for a hot second. Okay, and then while this is kind of holding, I'm going to kind of bring a block in to kind of just hold that down. Now I'm going to bring in my little butterfly, and I'm going to glue that right up there. Now I didn't add any gemstones or anything to this card because I just felt like this was pretty enough. But you know what? You guys embellish the way you want to embellish. So here, this little butterfly is going to sit right there. Okay, are we ready? So they get their card and they open it, and then that's what it looks like. And then this is one that I mean, I wish you guys could see it standing up. Let me see if I can, because this is one that they could put on, you know, a fireplace mantle. It's so stinking pretty. All right. If you open it all the way, and obviously you could sign it, but you're not going to be able to say a bunch with this card. If you did want to do more, you could absolutely go to the back and write some more notes back there. So what do you guys think? Do you like the fun fold? Isn't that pretty? And by using those dies, it gave me the ability to be able to hide that white one until it opens. Okay, I'm going to clear some room. I'm going to bring in that last card and show it to you, because I am already 45 minutes past. I'm going to show you how I stamped it, but I'm not going to show you how I like the coloring. So I will tell you what you need for the last card. So for the last card, you basically need a basic black card base, and you need 2 white 4x5 1/4. One's for the inside, one's for the front. So let me show you what I did with this. Okay, I just came in. I'm using black Memento ink, and I'm using the butterflies, and this time I'm using the leaves. And I'm just stamping these butterflies just kind of wherever. Again, I don't have a lot of rhyme and reason. I probably should have done the leaves first, but I didn't. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. Then I'm going to bring in these really pretty leaves from this set that we haven't used yet. And again, I'm just going to bring in these leaves in different spots. I wanted to show you how I stamped this so that you guys could see that. And then, you know, you guys can spend the time coloring this, but I'm going to show you the finished product. Oh, you also need, I think you need a 3x3 piece of basic black and a 2.5 by 2.5 basic white. I forgot about those for this one. And again, my cards all look different because I never stamp them the same twice. Okay. And then let's see, I think I want to bring a leaf in down here and then another leaf right there. But you just do this until it makes you happy. There. Okay. I'm not too worried about the center because the center is going to be covered, and you'll see that in just a second. I'm just going to move these. I'll clean those in a second. So basically, you're going to stamp it like this. You're going to color it all in. You're going to stamp the 2.5 by 2.5 sheet, I believe it is. Let me get my ruler. Yeah, 2.5 by 2.5 piece of white. You're going to do the same thing on that, okay? And then once you have it all colored, this is what you get. Woohoo! How pretty is that? So you just come in and color. And what I did was this piece right here, I cut. And, oh, so I should have stamped a butterfly right there. I forgot I did that. So this piece right here, I actually cut from the center of this, because this piece covers the center, and then this comes back in, and you line it up with the butterfly and the leaves. Do you see that? So this I do have step-by-step instructions, and I may actually show this on my VIP group. And then for the inside, I just did it like that. Okay, so guys, there are, let's bring them all back in. Let's look at all the cards that we did tonight that are possible with this beautiful bundle. So there we go. What do you guys think? There they are. So I hope, one, I've been able to show you the bundle a little bit better. And two, I've given you guys taught you some techniques that maybe you weren't aware of. And I just really hope you guys enjoyed this tonight. Okay, so again, just one real quick thing. If you want to place an order through me, you can do it at juliebrown.stampinup.net. You have to place an order between now and next Wednesday to get the card kits. So you can still get the card kits where everything that you see, you have to do the stamping, but I will have all of the designer series paper cut for you, the die cuts cut out for you, all of that. Okay, so that's how the craft along works. If you place the order ahead of time, then you have it with you to craft along with me. So again, I want to remind you, be watching out. We are going to do a Christmas in July craft along, and to get those cards, card kits with the instructions, you have to do the $40 order between July 1st and July 9th. Okay, and then one more reminder, this is a class to go where it's all sent to you. You get a link to the video, you watch it, you do it. Okay. Oh, hey, Melanie, thanks for joining. Yes, I love the spotlighted nature. So pretty. So guys, as usual, thank you so much for joining me. It really is like a blessing when you guys come in and you comment, and I see that people are watching, because I know how precious my time is. So I so appreciate all of you guys supporting me and watching me, and hopefully I taught you something. I showed you something that maybe you hadn't seen about this bundle. And for those of you that used your own things, please send me pictures. I want to see. So if you crafted along and you used your own, and I don't care if they're Stampin' Up stamp sets or if they are Stampin' Up paper, I want to see how you took what my design layouts and used your things at home and made some beautiful, wonderful cards. So please make sure that you send me a pic if you guys did that. Guys, thank you, and I will be back on next Wednesday, so catch up with me then. Thank you guys so much. Also, if you want to be part of my VIP group, make sure you reach out to me and let me know. You can even put yes in the comments here, and I will send a friend request to you, and I will get you in that VIP group, because I do a lot of challenges in that group and a lot of other things. So thank you guys so much for being here.